Twitch, are you working for me? Let's see. I am not streaming Dream Daddy. That's what my Twitch always says. There we go. Nice. Alright. So Twitch is with me now. Hello everyone, and welcome to Flowers. So the text here is in French, if you are unsure, and it stands for, basically it translates to the volume of spring. There's 4 of these games. 3 of them have been fully translated and are on Steam now. I think the 4th one's fully translated, but it's not on Steam yet. The 3rd one just came out on Steam not too long ago. It's the only one I don't have that's on Steam so far. But I will buy it eventually just so I can continue this series, because I want to continue this series until it's done, because I absolutely adore Yuri visual novels. I think they are it's really nice. As, you know, as a lesbian myself, it's really nice to see the representation and these beautiful art forms. So I really appreciate these. And this one looked super gorgeous, so I was like, I have to try it. So, the tale of the girls who grow with each season. And each of these, it's set into the 4 seasons. So it's spring, summer, fall, and winter. And as I said, the first 3 are already on Steam. The 4th one is not quite on Steam yet, but it will be eventually. The fact that they've done the first 3 already proves that it's going to be here eventually, just not sure when. So hopefully by the time I get to the winter segment, it will be on Steam, and I can actually play it, so. From what I've seen, it's super gorgeous, and the music is really pretty so far. And it also has voice acting, like full Japanese voice acting as well, so. Let's get into it, I guess. Oh, the art style's so pretty. The Angracium? I'm not sure what flower that is. Okay, so not all of it is obviously red, but... My grandfather taught me that the tougher things get, the more I should smile, but... Oh, look at the text box. That's gorgeous. That's so pretty. I'm not sure about the gray background, but that's pretty. I know that there are things so painful and terrifying that I cannot smile. In the deep of the forest, the shadows are so dark I can barely see my fingertips. So dark that were it not for the lights nestled evenly between the trees, I would not be able to walk. I'm now afraid to stand still. If I stop, I'm done for. I will be crushed with fear. Along this night path, where a ghost could appear at any moment. To escape from the fear, I think back to why I, Suo Shirahane, must trudge along this path. So she's your main character. I made all my connections smoothly thanks to proper preparation, but... The girls' boarding school I will be attending from now on. St. Ungracium Academy. A distinguished mission school built in 1870. Finishing school for girls from respectable families. I have come here to study and live at the academy for the next 3 years, but... Without a direct bus to the school, it took a considerable amount of time to find the single dim road leading to the academy. Staring at the tire tracks, I go forth, certain that this is the right road. I want to go home. Just me and my grandfather living together. It really was just the two of us. I didn't go to school, but I had books and movies for friends, so I wanted for nothing. I'm aware of my introverted personality, shy and withdrawn. So I had tried to attend school near my grandfather's house, but it was too painful. I ended up getting homeschooled. Living with my grandfather was a quiet life, and I thought things would be fine as they were, but in all my favorite novels, movies, and dramas, the main characters were always surrounded by wonderful friends. I longed for it, a life with friends. But being introverted, I thought that if I entered just any school, I would not be able to make friends. In order to get students to adapt quickly to life at the boarding school, the academy has its own system in which the school pairs students with a friend. I thought that if I went there, I too would be able to make wonderful friends, so I had asked my grandfather if I could attend. Oh. Hello? I look up to see that a person has suddenly appeared before me. In my surprise, I stumble, falling into her. I hear a flustered voice. Realizing that I am practically embracing her, I flush red and look up to the owner of that troubled voice. She's adorable. Okay, so this is not the route we're gonna be doing. Apparently she is another route you can do, but you have to do the Mayuri route first and then you can do hers. So unfortunately we can't date her right now. I've not played this game before. I just looked up the guide and that's what the guide said, so. There's a faint scent of citrus coming from the body holding me. Hearing her murmur above my head, I finally realize the position I am in, and that I am in her arms. When reality catches up with me, I feel tremendously embarrassed. The heat welling up from within turns my face red, and I want to disappear. Hearing the concern in her voice, I apologize again. I finally pull away and face the girl in front of me. Beautiful, gorgeous. What on earth is she talking about? The girl wearing the same uniform as me. His glossy black hair are cutely tied in ribbons, and the eyes behind her glasses are kind. She is lovely, even though she is just standing there. She quickly introduces herself. I've caused her trouble. I have no idea what to do with myself. Apparently there's a lot of different female characters. Like, I was looking up the voices, like, in the settings, and there's a lot of them, but there's only 2 routes in this one, which is kind of weird. So I'm wondering if the other games have more routes with those other characters that you can do, because I feel like that would be the best way to do this. Overcome with emotions, I bow my head, then dash away at full speed. Even though I was the one who decided to enter this boarding school in order to make friends and change myself. So she had got out of her way to talk to me. I was so embarrassed at our accidental hug, and I felt terrible for panicking her. It had been such a long time since I talked to a girl my age, I couldn't control my feelings. There was no way I could make friends like this. When I was placed in my grandfather's care, I had tried attending the school nearby. But I was such a wreck, all I did was bother people. Before I knew it, there was no one around me. I had come here to change myself, but the area behind my nose starts to get hot, and my vision gradually starts to blur and distort. The more I tell myself not to cry, the more I think of how pathetic and worthless I am. My blurred vision, I see something light red. Oh, don't cry. Stop it. Wiping my tears on my sleeve, I stare at them dancing around my feet. Hi, Pred. Cherry blossom petals rain down onto the path like snow, scattering at my feet. I lift my head, and there. Ooh. That's the girl we're supposed to date, I think. Ooh. I love that, that image. Yeah, another new visual novel, right? Eventually I'll get through them all, I swear. It's just, I have so many. Yeah, I don't have any, like, LGBT games that are not visual novels, like, except for Life is Strange, and a couple other ones. I think there's a couple other ones, but I've already beaten them and they're super long, so, like, I didn't want to do those, because I had already finished them before. I wanted to do new ones, so it would be a new experience for both me and other people watching. Except for Dream Daddy. I've played Dream Daddy before, but I know how it functions, so that's why I decided to do it, because I was like, it's a really great game, it's really funny, and it's relatable in a lot of respects, and it's just nice. Like, and there's a lot of different options you can pick, so. And it's not super duper long. I was just planning on doing one route from it and then moving on with my life. Because I've done them all before. I did not finish Dream Daddy. No, Dream Daddy's actually super long. I only streamed for like 2 hours last night. And I basically streamed long enough to get through the intro to where you can pick between the different dads, you know, to date. So, like, I got through the intro part, and then next time I play, I'm gonna pick which one I'm gonna do. And then we're gonna continue. And then I'm gonna do that route until it's over, and then I'll probably stop with Dream Daddy, because I've already beat it before. So I just wanted to play it for a little bit just to have some, like, you know, gay representation, like, because I'm gonna be doing the lesbian one on this, so I wanted to have some other representation as well. Then League of Legends is for you? I mean, there is some LGBT representation, yeah, but it's not really about that, though. Anyways, I'm gonna keep playing. Beautiful. Under the cherry trees that seem to float in the dark night-like apparition stands a girl with chestnut hair, glaring at me, gazing at me, frozen. Her eyes almost sunk me in. She stares at me, her eyes, slightly darker than her hair, shining with a pure light. I should greet her, I think, but it is as if my very spirit has been taken from me. My body does not move. I like her voice actor a lot. Clasping her hands together, the girl stretches and sighs to herself as she gazes at the falling cherry blossoms. Don't you think so too? I am asked, and I nod as though under a spell. I didn't know Celeste was LGBT. That's interesting. I thought about getting Celeste, but I don't have money right now, so... Lit by the color of the cherry blossoms, the girl smiles like a spring day. I follow her along as though pulled by a gossamer thread. Whoosh, the passing wind shakes the petals. It was free? When was it free? Why does no one tell me these things? The cherry blossom flowers fall like rain and cover the ground. I stumble in the wind. Like a month ago? It was on my wish list. Steam didn't tell me. It may have been earlier, before I put it on my wish list. Oh, on Epic Games Store. See, I don't use the Epic Games, so... I just use Steam. I stumble in the wind and fall into her embrace. I don't like the Epic Games Store. You're clumsy, aren't you? The girl laughs and, smiling, says that greetings are past due. She introduces herself, smiling at me. Ooh. Spring will be here. That was gorgeous. I love that. That's awesome. I need to download that theme song. Also, no problem, Fred. Come back whenever. April. It's so pretty. I love the graphics. And this is a bit of an older one, not like super old, but like 2014. I mean, for like a game that's like 8 years old, that's actually pretty good. The mixed voices echo throughout the cathedral, overwhelming in their beautiful solemnity. They wash over like a wave, reflecting off the stained glass windows, glittering in the sunlight, and at last reaching the first-year students sitting nervously in their seats. Oh, it's on your to playlist? It's super pretty so far. I enjoy it. From the altar of the cathedral, I hear the upperclassmen singing a hymn. The reality that I am here at St. I cannot pronounce this right. And Gracem finally hits me. When I'd arrived at the academy that night, I was taken to the dormitory right away. I had been forced to go to bed at a specific time, and so I had no chance to see anything. Gothic murder? That sounds interesting. Brick buildings lined the cobblestone path on the way here, as though I were in a foreign land. The cathedral we'd passed, or is it called a chapel? The scenery of a Christian school, just as I had seen in foreign films, unfolding right before my very eyes, took my breath away. Hearing faint laughter, I turned slightly and glanced at the seat behind me. A fellow freshman is looking at me and giggling. Don't judge me. I must have done something wrong, I think, and recall how yesterday I could only give such an awkward response to that girl, even though she had gone out of her way to talk to me. What have I done wrong? Orphan girl becomes maid, gets prophetic dream to the lord of the manor being murdered, must stop it using detective skills. Nice. That sounds fun. I love detective shit. I had myself a good old time with Danganronpa, so anything detective is like my favorite thing now. Had I been saying my thoughts out loud? My grandfather had pointed out it was a habit of mine when I'm lost in thought. I looked down, feeling my cheeks get hot. I am dressed in the cute academy uniform, but ever since that time, I haven't... The wave of sounds echoing in my ears fade, and I raise my head. The upperclassmen who have been singing the hymn at the podium are no longer there. Those second and third year students have now taken their seats, surrounding us. Then, before I even realize it, a woman wearing a robe trailing behind her, she a nun, steps up to the podium and, with a sweeping gesture, bows. Seeing Sister Dahlia, the teacher who will be in charge of us, reinforces my realization this is indeed a religious school. The woman with golden eyes and golden hair wrapped in a veil wearing a habit plainly shows that this is a Christian school. Is that what that's called? She seems nice, but there's something... Watching Sister Dahlia go over to the school precepts and talk about the structure of the academy, I feel a flutter of unease in my chest. No, it's just a... it's an all-girls Christian school. Like, boarding school. Vacation Bible School is only like a week, and you don't stay there. Somehow I have the feeling that a terrible memory is about to surface. I look away from Sister Dahlia and instead stare at the back of the girl in front of me. In front of me is a dressed like navy blue uniform. I quite like the neat, elegant uniform of this academy, as I gaze at the thin, slender lines of the body in front of me. Seeing a cherry blossom petal clinging to her shoulder-length chestnut brown hair, I reach out unthinkingly. I'd reflexively reached out to take it, but it would be rude to her, I think. Yes, but... It is only natural that I, who from a young age had never attended school and was homeschooled, would have no one I could call a friend. That's why my grandfather, concerned about me, had allowed me to attend the school with its amitié system, which is the Japanese, the French word for friend, I think. Besides, I don't know why, like, Japanese boarding schools, like, the Christian ones, the all-female, like, Christian ones, are, like, they always have a French nature to them. Like, it's just a thing. Like, if you've seen our Red Strawberry Panic, that's another one that's, like, a Christian school with, all-female, It's interesting. I don't know why that's a thing. Like, why does it have to be French? I don't know, but it always is. My experience with human relationships is lacking, and I cannot confirm this, but in all the movies and novels I've seen and read, the considerate characters are the ones who make friends. In that case, I should take it. Spurred on by the thousands of protagonists I've seen in the movies, I reach out gently, so as not to be noticed, toward that chestnut hair. As my fingers draw near her glossy hair, my heart starts thumping. Sweat drips down my back as I wonder if the sound of my heart will give me away. With all my courage, I gently pinch the flower petal in her hair. I nearly cry out of my success, then... Although quiet, I flinch back in surprise at the sound of the voice. I'm literally frozen in place. I stare at the girl who has turned slightly to look at me. It's the cherry blossom girl from yesterday. Remembering our embrace underneath the scattering cherry blossoms, my cheeks, no, my entire face, all the way up to the tips of my ears, suddenly flashes hotly. Embrace? When did this happen? Did I miss something? She had an embrace with the other girl. She looks at me with questioning eyes, then sees the cherry blossom petal I'm still holding in my fingers. I want to fix the, Please don't kill me for fixing this. Okay, I want to raise the voice volume a bit, because I can't hear it. I swallow the words I'd been about to say to try and resolve the misunderstanding and freeze again. That's because, with her beautiful smile and cheerfulness, she's exactly the kind of friend I want. That's much better. Raising voices is a murderous offense? Why is that a murderous offense? I can't freaking hear the voice actor. The voice actor is beautiful, man. Come on. She runs a hand through her hair and smiles. Is fiddling with her hair a habit of hers? I don't know why, but my chest tightens and I can't look away from her smile. 'Cause she's cute. Why is it a murderous offense? What the fuck do you mean, nerd? What do you mean? Where is this written? Where is this rule written? These voice actors do a great job, okay? They deserve to have their voices heard. This country of Japan, France. I pat my face and Mayuri nearly bursts into laughter, covering her mouth with her hand. My hand's still on my face. I can feel sweat beading on my forehead from embarrassment. Eventually, I drop my hands. Seeing me like this, Mayuri apologizes again. I hurriedly wave my hand in front of my chest as if to say, don't worry about it. I follow her line of vision to what she is frowning at. The student seated next to Mayuri sits with her profile to us, shooting up a reproachful glare. The student speaks with a controlled voice. Wait, isn't she? The loosely tied hair, the serious-looking rimmed glasses. When I realize this is the same person I had angered last night on my way to the academy, I hang my head once again. Feeling the glare behind her glasses intensify, Seeing those fierce eyes brings back that memory, and I feel as though I might falter, but... Otherwise, I would be throwing Mayuri under the bus, and after her going out of her way for me. I bow an apology to the girl, who seems to be considering the words I've said. So who's the one chattering now? That's right, she had introduced herself so as not to frighten me. My white cheeks turn red upon mistaking her name, and she says her name slowly and clearly. I mean, there's Hana in her name. That's not so bad. I tell her I won't forget, finally cooling the situation when a hand tugs at her sleeve. Her hand pressed to her forehead, she makes a small pointing gesture with her finger. When we look in the direction of her pointing finger, our eyes land on the podium. Sister Dahlia is staring our way with a detached smile on her face. At least she was nice about it. After somehow managing to make it through the embarrassing scene in the cathedral, I had straight to campus with my eyes cast down and arrived at the classroom without incident, but... I think as I look around the classroom. The layout of the classroom is no different from a usual classroom, making it a bit anticlimactic. No, but... Perhaps the interior of the classroom was built around the theme of wood because everything that would usually be made of metal, including the door handles, desk legs, and the edge of the blackboard is made of wood, which gives the room a certain warmth. I suppose it's a good idea to use wood in a humid country like this, since it absorbs moisture. Does it? The desks bear small marks like the lingering scent of the people who had once used them. These marks remind me of when I used to attend school. Remembering that one year I went to school, I feel a sense of nostalgia. Welcome back, Pred. As I'm tracing the diagonal scratch left in the desk, a mysterious voice calls out unexpectedly. Realizing that the voice is talking to me, I turn timidly towards it and... Oh, she's adorable! I love her little cherry blossom scrunchie. For some reason, the student sat in front of me. The person who called out to me seems awfully surprised. Beautiful Rika Hanabishi said the same thing. I feel my face turn red. I don't use OBS, I use Streamlabs. Let me check my settings real quick. Like, I can use them myself. But I can only use them on Twitch. As far as I am concerned. Or aware, I guess. Settings, appearance. Chat appearance? I'm not sure. Oh, there it is. Enable better TTV emotes for Twitch. Okay. There we go. Try again. I turned it on. It's coming up in my, Streamlabs, but it's not showing up on the chat thing. Refresh. Oh, I can't refresh because I'm live. Let me see. Please hold. Let me check the chat options real quick. Oh, here we go. I can enable them with the chat as well. Okay. Try it again. I didn't know I needed to change all my settings as well. There you go. I had to change the chat settings. There you go. Fantastic. So now we have emojis in chat. Ow. Okay. I don't use OBS, I use Streamlabs, which is by, you know, OBS. It's the same company that made OBS, but... Anyways, we got it. It's fine. Continue. Continuing on. But it's not the original OBS, so it's Streamlabs OBS. It's a very specific type of OBS. Still red in the face, I wave my hand in front of my chest to dismiss the words I'm not used to hearing. No, she means you look mature. I had somebody say that to me yesterday, and like to me I look like I'm 12. But somebody told me I looked like I was 30, and I was like, the fuck you mean? I'm only 24. Like, I didn't know how to take that, because like they made it in a positive way, because they're like, you look mature for your age, but I'm like, I don't want to look like I'm 30 when I'm 24. Like, I've been told by my grandfather, too, that I look older than I am. I put my hands to my still hot cheeks and... LOL, that's funny. Well, like, everyone else says I look really young, and that, like, they think I'm, like, 18 or younger, and then they're like, oh, you're 24? And then, like, that one person was like, yeah, you look more mature. And I was like, no, hold on a minute. Which one is it? Do I look young or do I look old? Pick one. I don't know why, but she's touching her chest over her uniform. I stare at her quizzically, wondering if the ribbon is coming undone. I'm almost a grandma. I hope not. Strawberry. I know what Ichigo means. I've watched enough Bleach. She's cute. I like her. She takes out a pen case from her desk, writes her name on the palm of her hand, and shows me. 25 is the age where you classify as grandma? Well, thanks, man. That means next year I'll be a grandma. Fantastic. Her innocent smile was so bright it almost makes me squint. She's delicate and carefree, and her tied-up hair makes her look cute. Looking closely, I could see 2 moles under her right eye, adding to her childlike appearance. As I think this impolite thought, Ichigo balls up her stretched out hand into a little fist and dexterously opens and closes it. Ichigo cocks her head questioningly, so I also write my name on my palm for her. She grabs the hand I've written on it. I let out an embarrassed yell of surprise. A few of our other classmates who are waiting for the teacher to come look at us, and I feel like my face is on fire. Still holding onto my hand, Ichigo taps mercilessly on the back of the sleeping classmate seated in front of us. I'm more nervous about her angering the student that she's hitting than I am embarrassed that she's still holding my hand. Once again, she slaps the back of the student who, overcome with sleepiness, is slowly snuggling back into the desk. The girl raises her head lazily and looks back. She looks just like her! Oh my god! I like her little hair clips, the sakura petals. Strawberry and apple. Then I feel tugging on my hand again. Squinting with her sleepy eyes, she stands up and leans her face in towards the palm of my hand. Though I feel my cheeks go red, I steal a glimpse of Ringo's face when she is distracted. She has the same delicate build as Ichigo. Being twins, they have the exact same facial structure, but if anything, Ringo seems to have gentler features than Ichigo. Instead of tying her hair back, she has a pretty flower clip in it, making me wonder if they are intentionally distinguishing themselves. That's kind of something that twins do. We had a pair of twins in high school. They were a few years older than me, but they would always do like one thing different to like their hair or something to make sure, you know, people could tell them apart. If Ichigo has a lively and innocent personality, then Ringo seems to have a gentler and kind one, I think, though I don't have much to go on. Then... She takes the other distinguishing feature, her hair, and points to the two moles under her eye. I nod my understanding. When Ringo nods back, then slowly returns to her seat. Yoroshiku. This is the first time someone has said nice to meet you to me since I came to the academy, and I feel heat rising from the bottom of my stomach in excitement. That's what I was gonna ask. I've never heard that word before. I've gotten this far. I think they might not have heard me since my voice has trailed off. But Ichigo, who has heard it clearly, folds her arms and hums to herself. I guess I really am no good at this. Putting a light tap on my head, I had come back to my senses. I could see on my small sigh from Ichigo, who was looking at me with concern. Huh? What kind of question is that? I have a feeling the important thing is how I should answer Ichigo's question, or rather, what would be the better answer. Respond with what you think she wants to hear. If that's the case, I would be better off lying and telling her I'm Christian. I don't know why, but with Ringo's sleepy eyes on me, I get the feeling I shouldn't lie. I answered. I'm relieved now that it's all clear. Judging from Ichigo's grievances, it's probably better that I'm not Christian. The sound of a door opening brings a draught of gentle spring air with it as a woman wearing a habit comes in and ascends to the podium. It's Sister... I'm gonna butcher this. Basquiat? The woman we've been waiting for. Basquiat. Yep, I was right. Look! With her hands folded in front of her, she bows gracefully to the class, and we all bow our heads in return. My impression of her at the cathedral had been somewhat negative, but with a single bow, she now appears warm, yet refreshingly cool. Real woman of the cloth, I think, with admiration. She smiles and a warm atmosphere envelops the room, I hear giggling from around the class. The first student, who's seated by the window, stands up and says her name. Then... Oh boy. I hate when they do this. Like, they make you introduce yourself and tell things about yourself. I'm like, I don't know you people. Like, why do I have to do that? You have to get to know me to get that information. Like, come on. Sister Basquiat's urging. She says she likes music and tells us her favorite singer, then finishes up with a safe, nice to meet you. Oh right, I forgot. Shit, dog. The only thing in my head had been the Amitié system, and now I find myself frozen at the thought of doing a self-introduction. I remember how I'd fumbled my words in my introduction on the first day of my school. When I think back on it, that was when everything seemed to go, oh, Ari, excuse me. My name aside, what would I say for my hobby? I love books and movies, but if I say that, will I come off as a loner? As for greetings, the safer the better. I'm racking my brain when I hear a familiar voice and look up. I like tasty things. Before I know it, we come all the way to Ringo, who is 2 seats ahead of me. I'm dumbfounded. Frog figurines. That's cute. I see Ichigo return to her seat upon Sister Basquiat's command. My mind is still spinning, so I make a strong first impression. I've heard that first impressions are important. Urged by Sister Basquiat, I stand up from my seat. I take a breath to calm down. What do I want people to know about me? Are adorable. I don't know about adorable. I put my hands to my now hot cheeks and look around. I expected to get some friendly smiles. Self-introductions continue as I hold my head in shame, and soon familiar faces begin introducing themselves. First, Mayuri Kosaka.
Mayuri です。趣味はお菓子作りと絵を描くことかな。これからよろしく。
Baking and drawing. Her straightforward introduction garners admiring gazes from several students. Of course, I am among them. Next is Rika Hanabishi.
Hanabishi Rika です。趣味は紅茶の茶葉集めです。
Yes!
焼酎です。皆さん、よろしくお願いします。
I love tea. I love buying, like, there's this really nice assortment of, like, loose leaf teas that I buy, and it comes in this little box, and I love getting it, and just going through and tasting the different types. I want to find a really good tea store and, like, just sample everything. Nice. This overly serious greeting is just like her, and her hobby of brewing tea is wonderfully feminine. However... I mean, we were all talking. The words are not said with malintent, but Hanabishi flinches at them. But then... Her praise for Hanabishi's entrance score and asking her to be class president seemed to cancel out the previous incident. Hanabishi accepts the responsibility while blushing, her chest puffed out in pride. I think that's wrong. That you make someone class president based solely on your entrance score, because it's like someone can just do really good on one test, and the fact that you just make them class president just based off that one score, I think scores are pretty meaningless. It's your, like, it's how you interact with people and how you lead people and stuff. That's what makes a good class president. Like, you know, it's having that presence of being able to teach and lead and, you know, organize things. And there's a lot more than just a test score involved. But, you know, it's Japan. All they care about is freaking test scores, so whatever. And it's true, nerd. Is what it looks like. I thought she had, like, a, you know, like just a black coverall for that. But I guess maybe not when she's in the classroom? I don't know. Sister Basquiat holds out a printout with the Academy's class schedule and starts explaining. First, an explanation of the 5 classes. Although it is a missionary school, it seems no different from an ordinary one. Ugh, etiquette. Ugh. Seeing just etiquette listed as one of the classes, I do a double take. I'm surprised to find that a staple of Japanese etiquette's kimonos is part of the class, but I guess one in Rome. Ugh, Bible class. Question answers itself, causing some to giggle. I guess it would make sense, because most people, like, in Japan aren't Christian, so going to a Christian school, you'd have to, like, learn more about, like, the actual, like, stories and stuff in the Bible than people, you know, over in at least the US here. Like, we grow up, a lot of us grow up learning most of that stuff, so it's like we just know it, and like people over there wouldn't necessarily know it because a lot of them are either Buddhist or Shintoist, or there's a few other ones as well, religions, but very rarely are they Christian. It's not super popular over there.
難しそうですね。いいえ、ただ競技を覚える作業というわけではありません。聖書をただ読むでなく、競技を踏まえた上で現実での悲劇とどう対処するか、難病に苦しむ方との対話をどうすべきかなど。
Who have incurable diseases? It's like an ethics class.
考える力や他人の意見を聞く方法を学ぶ場として捉えても結構です。
Interesting.
他には
That's definitely a different approach to it.
よかった。教えてもらえるみたいだね。
Those of us who don't know the hymns or prayers are reassured.
他に授業で言うべきところは、あ、はいはい、ありました。
Aren't they gonna... Don't they do a ballerina class?
この体育となっている授業時間ですが、
Hey, a ballet class. That's what it is.
体育の授業はすべてバレエの練習となります。
I remember seeing images of that, so...
バレエ?
The words fall from my mouth. I hurriedly look around the class. Good. Everyone is staring at Sister Basquiat with the same question marks around their heads.
バレエと一言で言いましても、クラシック、モダン、創作ダンスと分けられますが、授業で学ぶのはクラシックのみです。
Damn, I would butcher this so bad.
この授業も学院生徒たる気品、そして芸術性を磨くためのものです。
Ballet. Imagining myself in a leotard and slippers awakens a sense of panic in me, and I quickly shove the thought aside. She is pretty tall, I do gotta say. I wish I could be the kind of girl that looks good in a leotard, though. Question is unexpected. It suits you.
いちごさんならきっと似合うんじゃないかな。本当？そう思う？ねえ、体型とか顔立ちとかやっている雰囲気があるというか。
I can already picture it.
なら私も似合うってことですね。
Ringo says this with a small voice and flashes us a V for victory sign with her fingers, and I nod enthusiastically.
初めは大変かなって思ったけど、バレエの授業楽しみだね、スオちゃん。
Once she finishes going over the general outline of the classes, Sister Basquiat announces that the explanation is done.
学院規則や授業のということですが、寮についてはまた後でしましょう。いっぺんに話しても頭に入ってこないでしょうし。
Sister Basquiat's charming smile spills over into her words, but there's one question I'm desperate to ask, that being...
ダリア先生、アミティエのことはいいんですか？初めに決める事柄だと思ったのですけど。
Right, the amitié system. Since we seem to think the same way about it, I would really like Mayuri as my amitié partner.
最後の結びで言おうと思ったの。アミティエ試験はこれから行います。本日からアミティエ制度を行ってもらいます。慣れるためには早い方がいいですものね。今日から。
Now it's time for the amitié test. We are told to wait here. I ball my hands up in the fists, subtly so that no one sees. Take your time to answer. Don't rush, says Sister Basquiat to Rika, who asks how much time we have.
皆さんの鉛筆が止まりましたら終わりにしますから。
She says.
急がないわけないじゃない。
I face my question page, feeling rushed and pressured by the sound of pencils scribbling on paper. What she really means is that the person who takes the longest will make everyone else wait.
急がなくちゃとは思うけれど。
That's a lot of questions. The test spanning 150 questions? 150? That's a fucking exam! Jesus Christ! Has many questions asking at the students about ourselves. If I try to answer them on the spot, I could probably answer them just fine, but when I was a child, I would always follow orders without complaint. I think we hit all agree. If I answered without thinking things through, I might be paired with someone I wouldn't want to be paired with. I could get paired with an amitié partner I'm incompatible with. That would be awful. I like to daydream. I agree. I'm supposed to agree to all of these. I want to rush, but I can't. Still agonizing over it, I force myself to choose an answer. I don't care about manners. Wasn't I told my manners were good? I think that as I move my pencil. It doesn't matter what you feel about yourself if others do not value you. I think about it, or have tried, dressing as the opposite sex. Interesting question. I fill in the answer sheet while puzzling over what a strange question it is. I have received neurological or psychiatric treatment. It's an embarrassing question, but I suppose it is important if we are all going to live together. I've had a strong feeling that I was not myself. The moment I moved my pencil, all of a sudden I felt a deep pain within my chest. It's a strange feeling. A painful and terrifying feeling, but... Rubbing my furrowed brow with the pencil, I turned to the rest of the test questions. These are some weird questions, I gotta say. What the fuck? I have finished answering the long questions and have come to the last one. What kind of friend would you like? After finishing writing my answer, I finally take a breather and sneak a look around the class. Is this a cult? I mean, it might be. The cult of flowers. I could see it. Fewer people have finished than I thought. I had my answers written in a hurry, since being last would be embarrassing, but now it seems I finished early. I can still hear the sounds of pencils running across the paper. If that is the case, maybe I should write a bit more. The final question. The question, what kind of friend would you like? I had specified in details this and that about personality, but... This is someone I'm going to be spending the next 3 years with. Every detail is important. As I'm trying to take the paper in one hand, I drop my answer sheet and hurriedly bend to pick it up. As I do, Mayuri picks my test up on the floor and hands it to me. My face, and my entire body instantly becomes hot. Why is she the one next to me? How? Questions swirl in my brain. I had gotten up to go to the restroom once, and when I came back to my seat, well... The back in front of me is not her petite form, but a different person's back. Had there been a break when I went to the bathroom? When I'd come back, everyone was waiting for the test, and so I had rushed back to my seat, but... Oh, I've made a mistake. She knows too much. She must be eliminated! I'm just kidding. Finally comprehending that Mayuri really is sitting next to me, I take the test she is handing with shaking hands. I think as I glimpse the test on Mayuri's desk. Does that mean I went overboard? Hearing Mayuri's troubled voice, I look to her and see she is looking at the dense writing on the text. Seething with shame, I... ask what kind of friend she wrote about wanting. I ask. I've gone and asked it. I've done the thing. Of course, her eyebrows knit together at this, and I turn white as a sheet, wondering why I asked such a stupid question. She points to the last answer I wrote with its multiple lines. How dare you think so much about this, Suo? How dare you? It's okay. Alright, actually I gotta take a little bit of a break. I gotta use the bathroom, but I will be back in just a second. Where is my BRB screen? There it is. Hi! I am back. I'm gonna save. She says with a wry grin as she puts the test back on my desk.
こんなにたくさん書いて、優しい人がいいとか、人当たりがいいだとか、当たり前のことばかり書いてないで、もう少しちゃんと考えてみるよ。
She smiles kindly at me, and the only thing I say is okay. I thought I had embarrassed Mayuri, but she seems happy. I pretended to proofread my test, burying my face in the answer sheet so as to hide my embarrassment. Wonder if we'll be asked what kind of person we want to be paired with. Having heard there would be a final interview to determine our amitié partners, I'm sitting in one of the chairs lined up in the hallway, waiting for my turn. The words Ichigo had said as she went through her interview before me come to my lips, and I ruminate over them in my mind. Mayuri, who had picked up my test for me, comes to mind. No. I would be happy to have Rika, the class president and most studious person in class, as my amitié partner. I choose Mayuri. I remember her smiling kindly at me. Under the cherry blossoms in the dark of the night, she'd smiled at me. Miss Suo Shirahane. Called upon by Sister Basquiat, I get to my feet. Why don't we go together this time, she says. As I am resting limply in the hallway after the nerve-wracking interview, Rika speaks to me. I am tired, and when she makes the offer again, I simply accept. We head outside the school building to where the upperclassmen await us. Rika says, looking up at the high ceiling of the entrance. A rainbow of colors pours through the beautifully crafted stained glass in the ceiling. I nod to myself, thinking about how the wide entrance, which we'd had no time to look at while rushing to the class, really is beautiful. Perhaps question marks have appeared around my head at the word dormitory because Rika smiles and explains. I can't help but smile at Rika, who is proudly puffing out her chest. No. She's so cute!
昨日は勇気を出して話しかけたのに逃げられちゃったから気にしていたの。何か失礼なことをしたんじゃないのかって。そんなこと。そう？ならよかった。でもどうして走って行っちゃったの？私それが気になって。
Rika fiddles with the handrail on the old stairs as she asks me, and It's best to be honest. I don't know why I think this, but I start speaking to Rika, who seems anxious. I see. Rika mutters the words, nodding to herself, and looks down, a grave expression on her face. I regret even saying anything. What?
暗がりで急に
I
呼びか
thought
け
you...
たのだから失礼だったって思ったし、そんなこと。だからよかったって。白羽さんは学校に通っていなかったことを気にしているようだけど大丈夫よ。この学院にはアミティエ制度もあるし、クラスメートみんないい子ばかりだったじゃない。
Will I really?
今もこうして仲良くおしゃべりしているしね。
I nod slyly, encouraged by her kind, friendly smile. She then holds her hand out to me.
それじゃ行きましょう。
She says.
これからどうしようかな。
It's so pretty. Look at the cherry blossoms. It's so pretty. There's so many flowers. Looking up at the deserted school building, I let out a long sigh. Back then, having solved our misunderstanding, Rika holds out her hand, which was holding the number card given at the end of the interview we just had. She tells me we should hurry up since the underclassmen who are going to give us a tour of the campus are waiting. I part ways with her to find the upperclassman with the same number on her chest as I have on my card, but...
状況じゃ無理よ。
The upperclassman who's waiting for me. She seems popular, standing in the center of a group of students and laughing with them. First of all, I can't do this right now. I do not have the courage to interrupt when they were having such a good time talking.
途中から怒っていたし。
I had waited for them to finish their conversation, but it seemed that the underclassmen started getting angry when the freshman, me, didn't show up. It's only natural since they've been waiting a long time, but the more time passes, the less I'm able to go over, so I stand rooted to my spot.
そして誰もいなくなった。
I say the name of the mystery novel I had read as a child, wondering what to do next.
学院を案内してもらってから教室に戻ってくる。
By the time we're supposed to be back is an hour and a half for now. I don't want to be there by myself.
一人で見て回るしかない。
I start walking back to the school building with heavy feet in an attempt to kill time. I must have been wandering around for about half an hour when, all of a sudden, a voice calls out and I turn around. Seeing a familiar face coming towards me from down the hall, I'm at once filled with joy and an urge to hide.
一緒に行ったのだから分かっているわけだし。
I wave equally to her as she comes trotting down the hallway, and Rika hurries over to me with a smile.
また会ったわね、白羽さん。ええ。ずいぶん早く案内が終わったのね。教室に戻るところかしら。
Oh, also thank you for following. I did not get that notification, Jimini004. Your tour class ended fairly early. She says I finished early. Wouldn't it mean that she did too? She seems to have read my question through my silence, as Rika clasps her hands together and explains.
私の方は案内役の方が急な用事が入ったらしくてすぐに別れたの。恐縮されたのだけど、大体の間取りは入学前のパンフレットで分かっているし、分かりづらい部活動の説明は受けたしね。
She says that brightly.
そうなんだ。
She cocks her head at me as if to ask, what about you? I considered telling her that my guide also had an emergency and had to leave early, but
また誤解させるのは。
I don't want to hurt her again like last night.
実は恥ずかしいのだけど。白羽さん、こっちよ、こっち。花火師さん。
Rika pulls me by the hand into a corner classroom.
ここがレッスン室。バレエの授業に使われるそうよ。
She shows me the impressive mirrored room, and all I can do is say, oh, in a squeaky voice.
あら、どうしたの？どうしたの？
I confess that I was unable to approach the underclassmen and had wandered about campus aimlessly. Rika didn't mock me, nor did she laugh at me.
なら、私が案内するわ。
she offered, and my eyes nearly welled up with tears of joy. The problem for me now at this moment is that my hand is being held.
もしかして急ぎすぎて疲れちゃった？いえ、そうじゃないわ。
I don't know who that is.
そう、私嬉しくなるとつい夢中になっちゃう癖があって、早足になってたのかなって思ったから、行き過ぎたところがあったら気にせずに言ってね。
She looks up at me with kind eyes from behind her glasses, and I start to sweat. Maybe this is a normal thing between girls, but it's the first time a person the same age and sex as me has held my hand. I'm sweating, and it's all I can do to keep myself from blushing furiously.
白羽さんはバレエをやったことがあるの？
It's not really normal here, at least for me.
いえ、やったことないです。
But
そう、スタイルもいいし、立ち振る舞いも背筋に芯が通っているように見えたから、もしかしたらと思っていたのだけど、違うのね。
I return the flattery with a forced smile. She's been holding my hand ever since she started giving me this tour. The more I try not to be nervous, the more my palm sweats.
大丈夫かしら？嫌だったりしないのかな？
Since she is holding my hand, she is close enough for me to feel her breath. She's shorter than me, and there's this nice, soft, sweet smell coming from around the collar of her uniform. The femininity of it sends my temperature rising even higher.
学校でバレエを習うなんて不思議な気持ちだわ。クラスメートにレオタード姿を見られるわけだし。
I look into her carefree smile. My mind wanders as I think how lovely her long eyelashes are behind her glasses.
ちょっと恥ずかしいわよね、白羽さん。
I can't speak properly, and I look down at my feet as I feel my cheeks get hot.
日がよく当たるように作られてるのね。少し暑いわ。
I would be like
次はもう少し涼しげなところに行きましょう。
constantly blushing if I went to an all-girls school. Like, I would constantly be like a flustered mess. It would be so bad. I wonder if she's already noticed my red face. It's all I can manage, aware of her soft hand still holding mine. The next place she leads me to is... a library which is so magnificent that I let out a cry as I stared at it in wonder. Oh, I would live here. I can live here.
なかなかの蔵書よね。すごい。
This is me. This is me. I love books so much. There's that slight moldy smell unique to old books, and the dim lighting to protect the books from damage is calming. The wooden bookshelves, rough yet stately. This is my dream library.
本当に私が夢見た通りの図書室だわ。
I stepped further into the library as though beckoned by an invisible force and struck a finger down the spines of the books on a nearby shelf.
まるで映画の中の世界みたい。
I'd seen stately libraries like these in the movies, and it had always been my dream to go to one. She's chuckling books. Then...
ここなら涼しいからいいかなって思ったのだけど、すごいわ。別の意味で良かったみたいね。
I turn around as if awakened from a dream. Rika's giving me a look like I'm a child who has just found a toy.
つい夢中になって。いいの。図書室を案内して正解みたいね。ここ、なんていうか映画のセットみたいよね。私もそう思ったわ。でしょ？でも案内してくれた上級生の話だとあんまり人気のない施設みたい。今時の本は置いてなくて、古書ばかりだし。
I like a mixture, but I tend to like older classic books more than I do the newer ones.
そうなんだ。
I stare at the book I had been stroking. The sun-faded yellowing spine somehow feels lonely.
お昼と放課後は開放されているそうだからまた来ましょう。
She urges me on to the next place, and I feel reluctant to leave, however.
また来ようと言ってくれた。
Right now, just those words are music to my ears.
それじゃ次は私のお気に入りの場所を案内するわね。次の場所へ行きましょう、白羽さん。
She holds out her hand to me, and I at last realize that I had let go of it. Her favorite place is...
調理室?
Oh, because she likes tea, yeah. That makes sense. In contrast to the rooms we see until now, which feels somewhat historic, this room has modern appliances installed in it. A simple tiled sink, 2 glass cookers side by side, and tableware arranged neatly in clean cabinets. Rika steps forward and spreads her arms out amidst the kitchen counters.
すごいでしょ。
She explains.
ここってクラブハウスが並んでいる場所よね。なら。そう。ここもクラブの一つ。料理クラブよ。
Certainly not the kind of place where they would make all the students' food. Rather, the small kitchen stations lined up together look like the cooking schools I've seen in movies, so makes more sense that it would be the cooking club.
こんなに立派な設備があるなんて。すごいわよね。これで正式な部ではないって言うんだから驚きよ。正式な部じゃない。それじゃあこれって同好会なの？うんうん。同好会とは少し違うの。予算は出ているそうだし。
If that's the case, how is it different from an official club?
学院で公認されている正式な部は合唱部、
Astronomy!
天文部の3つだけなんですって。
Literature and astronomy are the two I would want. Forget the choir.
他の生徒が学びたいって自発的に人を集めてクラブにしたものが手芸クラブや美術クラブ、それにこの料理クラブなんですって。
That's nice. The fine arts club would be nice too. And certain crafts I like. Like, I like to make soap. I post pictures of that on Twitter sometimes. And I can make candles as well, but they're a bit harder. There's some other crafty things I like, but I'm not really good at it. I take her words in as I look around. It looks too professional to say that students started it all by themselves.
さすがはお嬢様学校よね。
I tell Rika, who is triumphantly puffing out her chest, that I would be really excited by it if I liked cooking.
え、私別に料理が得意だとか好きだとかじゃないわよ。はい。
She said she brought me here because this is her favorite place. Seeing my expression, not unlike a deer in headlights, she smiles and waves her hand.
私が気に入ったのはこっち。
She walks away from the counters to the wall where there's a shelf with cooking utensils. I follow her.
どう？品が良いものばかり揃えていると思わない？良いもの。
Dishes, forks, whisks, tongs, and other utensils are arranged on the shelf like decorations.
確かに高そうではあるけれど。
I'm not exactly an expert on cutlery, but the gleaming knives and forks look like they're made of silver. They are expensive.
ええ、確かに細工や品質にこだわっているように見えるわね。そうでしょう。上級生に案内されていた時にはじっくり見られなかったからもう一度見に来たかったの。そうなんだ。
Different strokes for different folks, but silverware? I marvel that someone could be interested in this.
こういうのはデザインだとか使っている材質だとかで良し悪しがあるのかな。あ、やっぱりだわ。ちらっと見た時そうだとは思ったけれど、まさかこんなに珍しい品が置いてあるなんて。
I do love, like, old tea sets, and, like, there are certain pieces of silverware that, like, have really, like, intricate designs on them that are really neat to me. But, like, I'm not super interested in any kind of, like, silverware except for tea sets. Like, any other kind of, you know, cooking stuff, really.
私も手に入れるのが大変だったのに。やっぱりこういうのって専門店で買われるの？ええ、自分で比べてみて取り寄せるの。やっぱり品質が違うわ。
The
匂いでわかる。
smell?
匂い？
Do high quality materials smell better? Never smelled silverware before, but stainless steel forks and silver forks probably smell different. I mean, I wouldn't know. I'm not particularly attached to eating utensils. Me either. She cocks her head as she gives me an instantly blank look, and I become embarrassed, thinking my choice in silverware was unrefined. But after a moment, Rika claps her hands together. Ova? No, she said tin just now. I love all those teas, actually. Assam's pretty great. I love Darjeeling tea, actually. I don't know what Uva is. I guess that's a brand. But I love milk tea. I actually, like, put creamer in my tea all the time, which is basically just a sweeter milk tea. I say, and finally, I at least noticed the square tins lying on top of the shelf above the silverware. And I understand that she had been talking about tea the whole time. I was about to say, I don't think she's interested in the silverware. Rika gives a satisfied smile. I, on the other hand, turn red at the fact that I had been so confused. I love tea. I want, like, a huge, tea pantry with, like, hundreds of different teas just everywhere for me to choose from. I still haven't recovered from my mistake. Rika gazes at the tea-stuffed tins with twinkling eyes, then clasps her hands together. How much tea could you bring with you? Hold on a second. Scenes from the novel Anne of Green Gables or the movie Marie Antoinette come to mind. I've always longed to be surrounded by friends at a tea party. You could even call it a dream. I've seen one of the versions of Marie Antoinette, but not the old one. I've seen, like, the newer one. And, I think it's the one that has Kirsten Dunst in it. I think that's her name. It's the chick from, the Spider-Man movies that plays, the love interest. I forget her name. And I have not read Anne of Green Gables, but I have the book. And I've been meaning to read it, but I just haven't gotten to it yet. I've always longed to be surrounded by friends at a tea party. You could even call it a dream. I've lost in my daydreams when I hear a voice right by my ear and I quickly look up. She squeezes my hand once again, and heat rises to my neck, and I feel it continue toward my face. Rika's hand wrapped around mine. Just the realization makes me start to sweat all over again. I somehow manage a smile in response to her excited words. This is what I lack, I think, as I watch her bounce a little. If I acted more like Rika, then I would have friends too. I look up to the ceiling instinctively at the distant yet clear sound of a bell ringing. I feel the excitement that had been building inside of me go cold, and a different kind of excitement now grips me deep within my heart. She holds out her hand. Pulling back my embarrassment, I gently take her hand. Staring at the podium, a sense of deja vu comes over me. The freshman class is awaiting the results of the métier selection without a single cough to break the silence, just like at the entrance ceremony. While waiting for the announcement, I get the feeling that this is not the first time I have felt this way. Filled with a jumbled mix of emotions that could be expectation or fear, I fumble for what lies behind this sense of deja vu that's telling me I have experienced it before. My life at my old school that I just couldn't adapt to. The day I was put in my grandfather's care. Mother's death. My mother died, and so it was just me and my father. Although our life was lonely, my father was kind, and I wanted for nothing. I had been grateful. However, of course, I did miss my mother. After my mother's death, I became antisocial, but it wasn't out of loneliness. My mother was talkative, and because I would engage her in conversation, he thought I was talkative too. After her death, I simply reverted to my original temperament. He remarried. I remembered my stepmother's face. Realized the deja vu I'm feeling comes from the first time I met that woman. Feeling as though I had defiled my new start at the academy, and the métier with whom I'll learn and grow, I squeezed my eyes shut and banished these visions of my family. So something about her stepmother. It's better to be optimistic. The feeling of expectation and fear comes naturally with meeting new people, I think, as I shake my head. Then I hear the sound of footsteps ascending to the podium. I look up nervously, and before my eyes, I think it is called a gazebo, a word meaning a small building in a garden used for resting. The term is technically correct, but it is the same Western style as the campus, lecture halls, and dormitories, and its appearance makes me hesitate to call it a gazebo. It's just like something out of the movie Marie Antoinette. Seeing it standing there proudly among seasonal roses of all colors in bloom is overwhelming. Now there is another reason I feel overwhelmed. At the end of the table, the Sasaki twins are chattering away boisterously, then...
購買で売っているものにしてはなかなかの味だね。ただ、グラニュー糖とクリームの配分がもう少しうまくやれれば、生クリームがもっと美味しくなったのにな。へえ、高坂さん、お料理詳しいの？お菓子作りは趣味でね。ケーキ類は昔散々作ったものさ。
Cake! I love cake.
意外だわ。あんまりお料理が作れる人だと思わなかったのに。
What is that supposed to mean? Mayuri asks, a slightly scary look in her eyes.
お茶のおかわりはどう？白羽さんはミルクティーがお好みなのよね。
Ignoring Mayuri's question, Rika gets up to fix me some tea without waiting for my answer. I feel out of place. The other reason I feel overwhelmed is that we are having this tea party in the magnificent gazebo with all 20 of our classmates. Jesus Christ. How many people can fit in that gazebo? Hold on a second. There has to be a bigger gazebo than that to fit 20 people? At first I'd been delighted, thinking that a tea party might be the optimal way to make friends, but... I'm literally overwhelmed and unable to talk to anyone. I withdraw into myself. Rika, who said she likes brewing and drinking tea, is gallantly filling her classmates' cups whenever she spots one that's empty. Now it's my turn. She takes the teapot, which had been keeping warm on the tea mat, and pours tea into my empty cup, then follows with warm milk.
めないうちにどうぞ。
I do as she says and take a drink. Fragrant and bitter, it's clearly different from store-bought tea. Ugh, I can't drink bitter tea. I have to have sugar in it. The word spills from my lips as I do a double take.
それはね、ウバの茶花のバラの香りがするでしょ。ここで飲むならこれだって思ったの。そうなんだ。セイロンティーの中では一番渋みと酸味が強いのが特徴なの。刺激的で深い苦みが最高なのよ。独特の後期はウバフレーバーといって一度ストレートで飲んでみてほしいわ。
Oh, really? I keep saying the same thing even when I am giving an in. What?
ごめんね。白羽さんはミルクティーが好きだって言っていたのに、好みまでいろいろ言われたくないよね。そんな。
She asked me, someone with no knowledge of tea, what kind of tea I liked, and without thinking I'd said milk tea, that's all. I would drink whatever Rika recommends. Oh, she is my amitié partner. Okay.
なんて言ったの?
Perhaps she heard me whispering because she has leaned in closer and is cocking her head. It almost feels as though she is touching my skin through my thin uniform, and I recoil in surprise.
白羽さん? 委員長、リンゴのお茶がなくなったから入れてほしいって。アップルティーが欲しい。わかったわ。すぐ用意するわね。
Oh, she just has it on hand? Like, there you go.
ねえ、私的にはジャンピングっていうのが見てみたいな。
Rika looks a bit confused.
あれは茶葉が跳ねるように湧き立たせることを言うのだけど、多分イチゴさんはこっちのことを言っているのよね。
She swiftly changes the tea leaves and pours boiling water into the pot.
わあ、すごいすごい、これこれ。映画で見たことがある。
I have like a little, I forget what they're called, but it's like a little ball, and then you put the leaves in it, and then you like dip it into the cup, and hang it over the hang like there's a little string attached to it, and you hang it over the side, and it like brews that way. But it's the same concept as using one of these. It's just like Ringo, I'm surprised to see a scene from a movie coming to life before my eyes, and I end up staring at Rika as she pours the tea with a look of concentration on her face.
本当はカップじゃなくてポットの方へお湯を入れるとき、茶葉を上下運動させるために勢いよく湯を入れることをジャンピングっていうの。
Also, if I poured the tea from that high up, I would spill it fucking everywhere. Jesus Christ.
そうだったのですか。これは空気をより含ませた方が美味しいから、そのための入れ方なのよ。ねえねえ、今度は私のをやって。仕方ないわね。
She says, but she does not seem to really mind as she pours tea into Ichigo's cup.
話す機会なさそうだね。
Mayuri says, stabbing at her cake with a fork, and with a small sigh I nod.
せっかくアミティエ同士になったのだから、ゆっくり話したいところだよね。
That's right. The results of the amitié selection had been announced. Even though I've been paired with Riki Hanabishi, it was decided that I would be amitié partners with class president Rika Hanabishi. Seems I had completely spaced out when I heard Rika's name. Finally snapped out of it when Mayuri, who was sitting in front of me, shook me.
ぎょっとしていたけど、花火師さんがアミティエになったのが嫌だった？そんなことありません。ただ予想外の名前だったので。
I thought that the person listening to me so intently right now, Mayuri, would be a good partner.
嫌なことはありません。今もああやってみんなに気を使えるいい人だって分かっているし。確かに紅茶好きだとは聞いたけど、根っから人をもてなすのが好きなんだろうね。放課後お茶会を開こうなんて考え、思いもつかなかったよ。
As Mary says this, I look Rika's way. She looks confused at having been offered a cake as thanks for showing her technique. Seeing her, blushing and looking embarrassed as she puts a forkful of cake into her mouth, I think how kind and thoughtful a person she is. I wish I could talk to her more.
普段飲むのよりもリンゴの香りがする。アップルティーってちゃんと専用の茶葉があるんだね。きちんと大別として認められているものだから、フレーバーを茶葉になじませてあるのよ。そうなんだ。また飲みたいな。ねえ、市販のティーパックでもアップルのやつって売ってるかな？大丈夫。ストレートしかない場合でもリンゴを薄くスライスして2切れほどカップに入れて注げばいいの。それで香りはつくわ。
Interesting.
リンゴスライス。痛そう。あ、それじゃあイチゴの茶葉はストロベリー味とかないの？それは
Pleasant banter of the Sasaki twins. Seeing Rika mingling and talking with the other classmates, I think about what will happen from now.
リカさんは委員長だ。
It's probably not impossible to get closer with her, even if she takes care of all her classmates. We probably won't have time together as amitié partners, will we? I say and look toward her. Seems her conversation is finished and she turns to me.
あら、高坂さん、カップが空ね。おかわりはいかがかしら？
She's talking to Mayuri, not me.
いや、だいぶいただいたしね。ん？ああ、そうだ。何でも言って。好みの紅茶を入れるから。よし、それじゃあコーヒーをもらえるかな。ブラックで。コーヒーですって？
I watch the two of them pretending to be mad as they enjoy their conversation.
寄宿舎だが、ちゃんと話そう。
I make up my mind to talk with my amitié partner in the dormitory, where it will just be the two of us. Hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. Okay. I'm not quite sure if I... Oh, sorry. Sorry, I meant to hit save! Ah! Go back. A quote from the Shawshank Redemption. In these circumstances, I am compelled to agree with those words. After the nerve-wracking tea party, I part ways with everyone and return to the dormitory. And I relax in the room I will share with Rika Hanabishi, my amitié partner. Then, just as I'd hoped, I have an amitié-like conversation with Rika in our room. We talk about all sorts of things, like our hobbies and hometowns. I am elated that I can hold a casual conversation with a friend, even if she's just a friend by circumstance. So much so that the words from Shawshank Redemption come to mind. That's right, I could recall. Not yet, I squeak.
荷物の整理が済んだらダイニングルームへ集まるよう言われているのだから手早く済ませた方がいいわ。そうね。
The words catch in my throat. I go to take my things from my bag. I feel my cheeks flush as I watch her neatly fold her underwear on the bed before putting it away on the shelf. Perhaps because we are the same sex, she folds her panties without any sign of embarrassment. Seeing this makes me blush.
私服とかはどこに置けばいいのかな？え？学院では制服以外は禁止だって規則に書かれていたでしょ？そうだったっけ？
Even though I've been able to talk just moments ago, I cannot respond properly now. Perhaps Rika has noticed that I am being weird because she stops what she is doing and comes over.
どうしたの？何か困ったことがあるなら言ってね。これから共同生活をする仲間なんだから。そうよ。アミティエなんだから気兼ねなく話してほしいわ。
She looks up at me with a gentle smile.
そうだわ。これから一緒に生活するのだから、これくらいで照れていてはダメよね。
I've made up my mind.
共同生活なんだから着替えとかだって。お着替え？ダイニングホールに集まってみんなでお食事だって言われていたけど。 お食事の前に着替えるの？いえ。
Afraid I might have shown my true colors, I feel my neck get hot again and I go silent.
あの
She cocks her head and looks at me in confusion.
おや、ノックをして入った方が良かったかな。それはそうでしょう。共同生活なのよ。親しき中にも礼儀ありでしょ。
Mayuri stands before the open door, looking at us like a child who has found a toy.
そういうまともな返しをするなんて、委員長はなかなかに肝が据わっているんだね。隔絶された女の園だよ。噂されるような状況は作らない方がいいな。何を言って。
She points to the bed with the folded underwear and then to her own hand. Rika, who has just realized she is still holding her panties, is clearly dismayed as not just her cheeks, but her entire face turns crimson.
これはやっと気づいたようだね。傍から見れば下着を握りしめて白羽さんに迫っているみたいだよ。違う。私は何か白羽さんが困っているようだったから。本当かい？
There's laughter in Mayuri's eyes, and Rika looks at me with a serious face.
本当よ。
I nod my confirmation. Hearing me agree, Rika lets out a sigh of relief.
なんだ、誤解なのか。同室の相手が変わった趣味の持ち主だなんて少し面白そうだと思ったんだけどね。何を言っているのよ、もう。冗談だよ。まあ、女同士だからってあんまり大っぴらにしない方がいいってことさ。
Right? She asks, smiling at me. I reply with a yes. Hearing that it's just a joke, Rika starts to open her mouth but takes a glance at the panties still in her hand and hurries back to the bed.
早く荷物の整理をした方がいいわ。もうすぐ食事よ。階段の突き当たりでばったり佐々木、あれは姉かな。彼女と会ったのさ。随分と話好きでなかなか解放してくれなかったんだよ。そう。
Her curt answer feels somehow off.
早く整理した方がいい。いえ、それよりも
I look at the cheery Mayuri.
さっき同室の相手がって言ったような。
I stare at Mayuri with an uneasy lump in my throat.
ん？どうしたんだい？白羽さんもせかしてるのよ。遅れたら連帯責任だわ。
Ah, so that's it. How did I not notice it before?
ベッドを。ああ、遅れた私が悪いんだから、ベッドは真ん中でいいよ。下は委員長が取ったようだしね。
Sorry, up until now I've been so nervous that I hadn't noticed, but
この部屋、
this is a 3-person room.
高坂さんの同室の。ひどいな。私だけ小公女みたいな生活をしろっていうのかい？屋根裏部屋？このドミトリーってあったかしら？冗談だよ。
Me too, says Rika's distinct voice.
それじゃ、本当に？
I recall the quote from Shawshank Redemption once again, then sit down on the floor in confusion.
その様子じゃ、白羽さん？高坂さんが何かしたの？違うの。変な質問かもしれないけど。
I take another breath.
高坂さんもこの部屋で共同生活をする？
I ask.
え？そうか。なるほどね。
Two of them look more astonished than anything by my question. But...
でもアミティエは花火師さんでしょ？共同生活の相手はアミティエだけだって。これっても…ああ、なんでかはわからないけど、行き違いか話を聞いてなかったみたいだね。話？
I think back to the Amite selection at the lecture hall. The teacher in charge of the selection committee said to Reika, Hanabishi was my Amite partner.
あのね、白羽さん。何か思い違いを
Oh!
しているようだけど、アミティエは
There are
3人
3
いることなのよ。
people. Huh?
先行で名前が呼ばれてから最後、今年から2人組のアミティエよりも3人組でのアミティエの方がコミュニティ能力が上がるだろうからそうなったって話したじゃないか。
I got stuck on the word partner, indicating 2 people.
報道で選考委員の
The very name I had hoped for. I guess I didn't hear it.
そう緊張から聞き逃してしまったのね。それかよほど花火師さんの名前が出て喜んだから私の名前は耳に入らなかったとか。
Her guess is right on the mark, and I blush and look down. Mayuri smiles surreptitiously while Rika's white skin turns redder and redder. First I get to be partners with Rika, and now with Mayuri. This is wonderful, but... While it's true that I am happy she is my Amite partner, it's not quite as Mayuri says. Partner I'll live with from here on out, it could get awkward. I've got to resolve our misunderstandings.
黙ったままなんて本当に図星だったのかな。白羽さんは落ち着いた大人の女性なんです。呆れているのよ。
I hear the words over my head as I stare at my nails, trying to escape reality. I then notice my handkerchief has fallen to the floor and go to pick it up. This is what Rika had said. I wipe the sweat that has beaded on my forehead with the handkerchief in my hand.
何をいきなり笑っているのよ。いや、まさかひょうたんからコマだと思ってさ。
What an old saying, she says, and looks once again to where Mayuri is pointing. She turns her eyes to me, she suddenly freezes.
白羽さん、それ。
Her skin turns even redder as she points. Oh, it's her panties? My handkerchief fits well. Bye, Pred. I think my hands are tough to be what Rika had been folding on her bed. I can hear her chuckling. I stand there clutching her panties, wondering what I should do. My brain frozen like my body, I look up at the indigo evening sky peering in through the window. Interesting. Hey, I got through chapter 1, guys! 2 hours. Alright, that's a perfect time to stop. Fantastic. Alright. So I got through chapter 1. We're on track with the Mayuri route. And we're gonna keep going, I guess, till we get through the end of this route, and then we're gonna do Rika's route, and then we're going to do the other games in this series, because there is 4. I only have 2 currently, but there are 4 in total, and 3 on Steam. So I'm hoping by the time I finish the whole series, like the first 3 volumes, I'll get to the 4th one. And if it's not up by then I will add it, like, and play it later, so. But anyways, this is a really pretty game, and I really like it. The art style is really pretty. I like the music. Really good voice acting. I like the setup. And so far the story's like pretty basic, but I like the concept. And the characterization of the main character. Like she's not just a basic bitch main character. Like she has a lot going on, personally. So, but anyways, thanks everybody so much for coming to stream. I will play this again, probably next week, along with my other 3 games that I have started playing, and have Higurashi, which I've been playing for freaking ever. But I will continue to play this one just like the others, and I will keep playing until it is done. So I hope everyone enjoyed this, and I will get back to this as well as other games very soon. So thank you all for your patience, and I will see you all next time. Bye!